Welcome back to Questing Time, friends. This is it. This is the end of Season 1. This is Episode 19, Part 3. I'm your host, Paul Foxcroft, and this is Dungeons & Dragons, played by comedians, so kind of. The party is stuck in hell. They're in Avernus. They are currently outside the tower of Arkhan the Cruel in his, I guess, garden, negotiating with Krull, Arkhan's high priest, a turtle of the death domain. Negotiating for access to a portal that will let them get to Sigil, the city of doors, from which they hope they can get home. It's gotten complicated. Phillin signed a contract that has been ratified by a devil, and a bunch of stuff has happened. Like the party's had most of a dragon dropped on them. They're all pretty badly wounded. They are surrounded, I think, by an army of the undead, and Krull is a character who I believe they're all a little scared of. But the portal is there. They know where the portal is. They also know that each of them has to tell a secret in order to activate the portal. So this session we're going to find out some deep secrets about the characters. And we're also going to see some A+, top-of-the-line role-playing from my cast that was genuinely, brilliantly evocative, phenomenally emotional, and 100% pure surprising. So I hope you enjoy what I think is some of our best work in the first couple of months that we were doing this. I think this episode really set the bar, and I think we maintain and then advance that in season 2 at different points. But this is a really good episode, and it's a really good climax. Please enjoy it. I'll see you at the end. From nowhere, a maul, a two-handed mace with like double skulls that belch green flame appear in Krull's hand, which he just gently places at the base of a 30-foot radius from this monolith. And you feel like you see the air shimmer, and then like something, there's like a sort of like build-up of pressure, and then that just dissipates, and you feel like a static charge flow over everybody. Which goes, you have deactivated the ward.
Okay.
Contract stipulates this will be the case for no longer than 5 minutes.
Guys, get going. I'll see you in 2.5 minutes max.
Jack, you go first in case there's something the other side.
You mean something dangerous?
Yeah, there might be.
Well, if it needs someone noble to go first, then I shall be the one. Thanks, Claire. I turn and I run at the whichever one he just pointed at.
Yeah, it's such a great move to run at a random one, but no, you run at the appropriate one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I as I'm running, I turn back and I look Claire dead in the eyes, and I say, "My name is not Jack Hardcore."
We know. Jack Hardcore.
At which point, you run into the surface of the obsidian, and as you do, it morphs. And what happens is like a spiral, very rapidly, a sort of spiral of blue and black light with little white particles flying off the side of it that manifests on the surface of this portal, and the Reverend vanishes within, and it's gone. And we'll come back to you in a second, Richard.
Okay, Ruff, you're up.
Go.
No, that's not how it works where I come from. Ladies first.
Also, we're definitely going to need another secret from you now there, Mr. Thump.
It's just if there's danger the other side, Ruff, we should go with the toughest person first, and that's you.
That's absolutely right.
1 minute has elapsed.
Just go, Ruff. It's all right.
One tougher than a tiefling. Off you go. Come on, time's wasting. Chop, chop.
I look at both of them and say, fine, please don't tell Jack. And then rush towards the portal. And as I run, I say, I'm a hell child fated to rule the Shadow Ring.
And sure enough, the portal manifests, and Claire steps through and is gone, and the portal is once again gone. The two of you, I should also point out, Krull has like got a little magical effect around his hand. He's holding it up towards the port and he's like, interesting. It seems that whoever...
Go, Mr. Ruff. Let's just get out of here now. I don't care, Mr. Ruff, what it is. Just say your piece and be gone.
I walk up to the arch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seconds away from walking through it.
Yeah.
I turn my back to it so that literally so much as a breath of wind would push me backwards through it.
Yeah.
And I raise my crossbow and I shoot Phillin.
What?
I didn't see that coming. Sure, make an attack roll.
What the hell?
An 18 plus 7.
Yep. Matt, what is your armor class?
I mean, I'm not going to survive this. 14, and I've got 7 hit points.
Okay, Rufus, please roll your damage.
What?
11.
Matt, you take 11 points of damage.
See you guys.
No, you're not unconscious.
Yeah,
unconscious.
good.
And I fall backwards through the portal.
You need to
Okay.
As I say, Dagnabbit's my half sister.
The portal manifests. Okay. Meanwhile, so we'll cut away from hell for a moment.
What the hell is going on?
As Richard, you fall out of a tree. You
Classic.
land in what appears to be a sort of like a town square.
Okay.
It's quite busy. You're in the middle of like a sort of little bit of a market. You sort of stand yourself up. You're looking at a busy city centre sort of market situation. And as you look around, you realise, one, there is absolutely no pattern of people here. There's humans, dwarves, elves, people with flames for hair, some absolute devils, a couple of angels. You see, like on what appears to be a cafe, an angel and a devil are having a tea or
Good
something and
omens.
having a chat. There's a giant milling around, pushing a sort of enormous wheelbarrow. There's a lot happening here. There's like all manner of different beasts. There's also creatures you've never seen before. Slightly with like these creatures walking around in robes with like leathery, almost greenish skin, but they're gaunt with deep black eyes, wandering around. As you look up, you see more city. There's no horizon here. There's the opposite. As you look up, you realise the curvature of wherever you are is the wrong way. As the street ahead of you rises upwards and over you, and you see more city coming back down around the back of you. You look to your left and your right. You're in an enormous tube that curves around. In the middle distance, hovering over everything, you see what might be the form of a woman, hovering silently over the city. As behind you, Claire falls into the street. And
What is your name?
And then about 15 seconds later, Ruff falls into the street. And you are aware of a couple of things. One, no one gives a shit that you've appeared. Like, people haven't even broken their stride. And as you look around for a second, you see, I'm just going to set this picturesque, set this sitting. What you can see is like there's it's like a quiet market. Like it's not a borough market sort of vibe. It's like a little lower key than that. You're in a sort of rundown area of this town. There's a bunch of people just milling around in the street. It's sort of muddy and dusty. There's a sort of smoky vibe to the air, like a sort of overpopulated medieval London. And there's a bunch of other bits and bobs. The buildings are a hodgepodge of different styles, made of different materials. However, you are stood maybe 20 to 30 feet So there's the tree you've fallen out of just has a sort of branches twined around itself to form a sort of oval. And that's what the portal has manifested through. And the tree is basically dead. And as you stand yourselves up and kind of dust yourselves off, and Claire says, "What's your real name?" Richard, you don't answer because you are looking at a statue about 50 feet away, which is undeniably ancient. It is a statue of a halfling dressed in a suit and noble, sort of almost like, academic attire, holding a skull in one hand. It is a statue of Phillin Blanks.
Where's what? Can we all see that, or just Jack?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I'm going to approach the statue.
Guys, we need to wait for Phillin, and then we need to destroy this portal. I can use Shatter. What have you got? They can't get through, but as soon as Phillin is through, we destroy it.
He's not coming.
Of course he's coming. He just needs to check. It's in the contract. They have to get him through. But as soon as he's through, what do you have? I have Shatter. We need his Firebolt. You mean he's not coming?
What happened?
Just not coming.
Ruff, what did you do?
I start looking for a pub.
Okay, cool. Make a perception check.
I'm staying by the portal.
I'm gonna stand in the way of Ruff to make it harder to see a pub.
I actually rolled a 21.
You know those dogs when they wait for their owners to return? I'm kind of looking at the portal, looking for Phillin in that same way.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I'm just doing some maths. Cool. Sorry, Rufus. Yeah. Pub. Hang on. Where are my sigil notes? They are. Oh, they're here in the big book. Sorry, you beat 15.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. You see a sign. What are those? You know the signs. I mean, the pub, the swingy pub signs. That just reads the Smouldering Corpse Bar. You wander towards that.
Under my breath, I mutter, "Seems about right." And I walk into the pub.
Okay, you walk into the pub. The floor here is like metal grills, and you can see immediately why it's called that, as swiveling to face you is a burning corpse, just hovering about 20 foot back from the entrance, a rictus grin of its skeleton, black against the flames that it's engulfed with, its flesh running down it like tallow forever. Just rotates to look at you and just regards you as you comes in. You can see there's like a little sort of area of raised runes on the floor. In the bar, it's aside from the flaming man, it's relatively dark in here. There's a bar off to the left. There's a few tables dotted around. You can see a group of 3 or 4 humanoids wearing heavy sort of red armor. There's at least one sort of devilish-looking thing in the corner, making its way through a tankard of mead, what appears to be mead. There's a couple of other people milling around. There's also how do I put this? A box with a face sat in the corner reading. Long, spindly mechanical arms and legs sticking out of it. And a barman, perhaps most relevantly.
I walk to the bar and say to the barman, "Everything."
The barman looks at you, tilts his head to one side for a second, just wordlessly puts a liquid in a cup and hands it to you.
I drink it and put the glass down and tap the top of the glass.
Yeah.
The internationally understood symbol for again.
Yeah. And the barman just kind of does the international symbol for you. You'd better have some fucking money.
I nod and point again at the glass.
Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, outside, Richard and Briony, what are you guys doing?
I've
Well,
sat by the portal.
I'm looking at the statue, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Can I investigate it, see if I can find any information about it?
You absolutely can.
There's a plaque or anything.
Mhm.
Statues have plaques. 14.
14, you can see there is a space where there once was a plaque and it has been torn out.
Okay.
There's a lighter patch of, like it's not well maintained. There's lichen and stuff on it. It's dirty. It's got years of smoke damage and bad air qualities on it, and it's got a You can see there's 4 bits where a plaque has been screwed in, and there's a lighter square behind that where that was, but you can see like it's been ripped off, and you can see the stones chipped where somebody's crowbarred it away, and also they haven't unscrewed the bolts; they've just torn them out of the rock.
Okay. I'll go back to Claire.
Okay. No sign of Matt.
I am waiting by the portal.
Claire, should one of us go after Ruff?
I'm going to wait for the guy who knows he doesn't know his name and at least told me that, rather than go with the 2 people whose name I didn't know and deliberately didn't tell me.
You want to talk about trust? What was your secret?
I don't even know your name. I was going to say Jack, but I can't say Jack because that's not your name. You know my name, and you already judged me for that, so I don't see why I should tell you anything else because I know what the reaction will be. I'm waiting for Phillin, who already knows what I said.
Fine. I guess I'll go and find him myself. I turn and head to the pub.
Okay.
I'm in the pub?
Yep, you're in the pub.
Cool. I see Ruff at the bar, sidle up to him and sort of lean over the bar next to him, trying to look cool and gesture to the barman.
Okay. The barman. So you walk up to the bar. Ruff is there, sinking what might be his 3rd or 4th drink. You walk up, did a sort of gesture to the barman. He provides you with a glass of what appears to be milk.
I down the milk.
It's not milk. Make a Constitution saving.
Oh man! That's 10.
Oh, you are absolutely hammered. Oh,
okay.
Also, you are no longer. Your alignment is no longer affected by hell.
Okay.
Oh, I assume that was true for all of us, is it not?
It is now. Like that has gone.
So we're back to our original alignments.
Yeah. It wears off after about 5 minutes.
So, Ruff, are we going to talk about what happened back there?
No. And I tap my glass again.
And the barman once again fills your glass. As Richard, the world starts to. If we imagine the camera is on Ruff, and the camera kind of tilts with the bottle. We see the glass fill, and the camera pans over to the Reverend, and we see his glass fill, and it pans back up, and we see all of everything around the Reverend start to blur, and the camera floats out of the bar, and tracks Claire in this quite busy street of people who are just walking around her, and we see what happens is like The people in the street speed up, and Claire is motionless, staring at this portal. We stay there for a couple of minutes, and then the camera picks up and vanishes through the portal. And we find ourselves once again in hell. Let's skip back. Ruff fires his crossbow, striking Phillin in the heart, and Phillin falls to the floor.
Again.
Ruff vanishes through the portal. There is a beat of silence as Phillin falls to the floor and begins to bleed out. At which point, Krull just looks at the contract and starts running through it as Phillin's blood is pouring out over the ground here. At which point, Krull finds a relevant clause. Annoying. And casts Cure Wounds on Phillin.
I wake up and just scream in his face. Ah! Yeah. What?
It would seem that your colleagues are rather more erratic than you would have expected.
I think that is true. How much blood did I lose?
From the look of it, most.
Okay. Can I move my legs? I should check that.
Should point as this is happening, Kroll clicks his fingers and a robed figure comes out of nowhere and just starts putting some of your blood into a vial.
Okay, that's not good. Okay,
No.
so
I believe you are obligated to tell me the secret of the portal.
I am obligated to do that.
But also, you owe me a life debt.
Okay. Why is that?
I have just saved your life.
No, I save lives all the time. Don't mean nothing to me, mate.
Your stupidity is not my concern.
Okay, it was worth a try.
Mr. Crisp,
Mr.
at which
Chris.
point that weird sort of insectoid print demon steps forward and is like, he has a point.
Okay. Could I just take counsel with you, Mr. Crisp? Are you doing contract lore? I'm sorry, I lost a lot of blood. Things seem purple. Anyway, Mr. Crisp, can I have a word with you? Just a second, Mr. Crisp. Mr. Crisp,
I
sir.
will allow you some privacy.
Thank you. In that contract right there, you know when you said everyone would get across safely,
Yes.
would you say an arrow in my heart counts as safe?
I absolutely would not, but if you look at the actor's clause, you'll find that has not been an act of aggression by Krull or his minions. He owes you safe passage in the sense that he's restrained from harming you, whereas your colleagues, I'm afraid, are not covered by the same clause.
Okay.
How do I put this? This is hell. We don't fuck about with contracts.
So I'm just going to tell him how it works, and then I keep my legs?
That would seem to be the deal, yes.
If I
Also,
said... What?
Hmm.
Nice noise for someone who scares the shit out of me.
I'm just... Your body's new.
Yeah, it's got that new body smell, doesn't it? Take a while, get that out. Couple of onions, lad's night. I just was wondering, say I told you a secret, just because, and I'd say I said, like, right by this wall, I said, listen, mate, I don't have no memories, and I'm genuinely worried that if I find my family, that I will lose my friends.
It just slams before you finish the sentence, he slams one of his weird hands onto your mouth and just says, No, actually, he doesn't. He has no knowledge of how that works.
Nope.
Yeah, he does.
He lets you speak.
Then I fall backwards because I have crept towards the door.
You haven't said that at all. No,
I was implied.
No, you fucking what? No,
Run towards it, Phillin.
You
Okay,
say...
then I use my new power, Thunderstep, to teleport by it, and I say the secret loud.
Okay, but just to be very clear,
I know.
You have not explained to Krull the nature of this secret.
No.
Great.
I'll shout it.
What are you shouting?
Door works with secrets. See you later, Krull.
And as you step through, your pain racks your body, as what you've said is not quite true.
And you tell him it. Deepest, darkest. It's all a sentence in there. Oh, my spleen.
9 damage.
Oh god.
And hang on a second. D100.
Oh no.
Gulp.
No, because you've been healed.
As you tell him the specifics of that, you're no longer restrained, and you fall through the door as blood bubbles up out of your mouth. Your eyes are bleeding, and you can feel your soul just settle back into your body as it was in the process of being removed. It feels really weird. Yeah, great. You, however, tumble through a sort of vibrant Willy Wonka style boat ride style tunnel for a while. It's hard to keep track of time in there until eventually you fall out of a tree onto Claire.
I cast Shatter on the tree and drag Phillin away from it. 3rd level.
I remember what happened when we put a bag over a portal.
I don't get Phillin, use a firebolt. We gotta destroy that portal.
I don't think I can do much right now, Miss Claire. I think my soul is in my anus. That is just the feeling that I'm feeling.
I'm gonna do cure wounds on him as well.
Okay,
Thank you
well,
very much.
no. Let's do this in the order that we said we were doing it. Claire casts Shatter on a tree, on a desiccated, dead tree.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to roll damage or no?
You've done enough.
Christ. Hang on, I need more dice.
I didn't say it was a good plan. I have a plan.
8.
I don't care. My friend's alive.
Hang on, let me just add some stuff up.
Was alive. Based on what Paul, the number of dice Paul is currently rolling.
It's like I can't stay alive.
You're like the opposite of the Bee Gees.
I've just realised why that fly's circling me now. Just reek of death.
Oh dear.
Can both of you take 28 damage?
Oh, I'm unconscious.
Yeah,
Force,
I'm out.
force damage if that's relevant. Force damage if that helps anybody out. As the tree explodes, killing 6 or 7 bystanders. You both are fired across the market. Like as you do it, Claire, you're sort of falling backwards as you feel unconsciousness fall over you. You see a little gnome man just turn into paste. The building behind the tree is flattened. You hear screams, and then you black out.
Oh dear. Whoops. Can I be lying at least near Phillin's dead body?
Yeah,
Can we
the
be
two
dead
of you,
near
the
each
two of you
other?
are unconscious.
It squeaks unconscious.
Oh fuck!
Did Squeaks come through the portal?
Yeah, always
Squeaks is with
holding
him.
him.
But yeah, Squeaks is unconscious, and more importantly, not just immediately dead.
Okay, cool.
The two of you hear, as everyone in the bar does, hear a thunderous boom.
I immediately...
And then the windows of the bar smash.
Yeah, don't care.
The 3 heavily armored guys all just stand up, grab their mauls, and jet out. They're like cops, maybe?
I'm slightly ahead of them. Like, I'm that, like, I am running right back.
Right.
I survey the scene as you've described it.
Yep.
I see Phillin. I see Claire. I run back in the pub and I start slapping hardcore about the face. Like in a wakey. Like I throw water on him. I slap him about a bit. I'm bringing him back to consciousness.
Okay. He's not unconscious. He's just very drunk.
Well,
So
all right.
You drag him.
All of this is unnecessary.
You drag him, slapping him around the face and neck. You drag him out into the street. And in front of the statue of Phillin are lying Claire, the Dragonborn body of Phillin, the unconscious form of Squeaks, and like I'd say about maybe 30 other people are unconscious or dead.
Yeah.
Market stalls have been tipped over. Chaos reigns. People are running. You can see a bunch of these guys in heavy armor looking around for assailants. It's not immediately clear who did this. Richard and Rufus make perception checks. Richard at disadvantage.
Because I'm hammered. What, 15?
9.
Okay. What you can see is there's also there's like 3 or 4 floating green-skinned, white-haired creatures floating towards the area, but they're going towards the structural damage. Richard, you got 15. You can see over the buildings the floating silhouette of a woman moving slowly towards this area.
Okay.
Briony and Matt, can you both make 2 death saves because enough time has passed?
Okay.
It's just a D10.
Oh.
Tell me what you get.
And that's a 20.
I got 20 as well.
Are you fucking kidding? And it's at that point,
Natural 20.
at that point, the 2 of them simultaneously snap back into consciousness on 1 hit point.
Oh my god. How do I do that? I got it. On the film. Nope.
And stood over you
Yeah.
is the Rough Knight and the Reverend, who is teetering back and forth. You see a floating woman over the houses behind them, moving towards you slowly. And Phillin, you are looking up at a 40-foot stone statue of yourself, dressed in a manner that you've never seen yourself dressed.
I grab them by their collars.
I grabbed Squeaks.
Yeah,
and the backpack.
Yeah, like I basically using boots of striding and springing, full strength, full just whatever I can fucking do. I'm getting the pair of them out of there, back into that pub.
Sure.
I'm getting the 4 of us out of this chaos.
I sort of follow behind in a not a straight line, in a wiggly line.
Yep. Sure. As you do, you can see a guy these sort of weird floating creatures are starting to rebuild the structures that were destroyed. And you also see these hulking dudes in red armor start sort of basically figuring out the dead from the unconscious and starting to give them a bit of aid. And a guy runs out of the crowd that's gathered into the center of the air and throws a tin of red paint and starts screaming in an incoherent babble and doing what might be an interpretive dance and pointing at this smoking hole in the floor and sort of cheering. And as he's doing this, one of the guys in red armor turns to him and looks fucking furious. And he goes to get his nightstick and walk towards him. He looks up and steps back and just looks away. And you see a lot of people look away as this guy ranting and screaming and throwing stuff is he's picked up like a loose cobble or like a potato, or you can't tell what it is, something from the floor, and throws it. It arcs through the air and it hits one of these floating creatures in the head, drawing blood from just above its eye, thick, dark green blood. As that happens, everyone just is terrified, stops, freezes, as this floating woman's shadow creeps into the street, envelops this guy who is cut apart in seconds. He's been diced. He just falls into thousands of pieces on the floor as this shadow recedes again. The three of you are once again back in the pub, looking out of the front door. You've just seen this. Everybody feels unpleasant.
We want to go home.
I turn to the barman and go, 3 more.
And I raise the glass, it's not right, and just say, at least none of us shat on a goose.
I vomit.
And that's season 1. And that's how season 1 ended. Now, before we go any further, that was a short bit, wasn't it? Shorter than normal. And the reason I've done that is because when we finished the show, we all stuck around online for half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and chatted about how it had been so far. I think we started talking about high points from the first series, and then a little sort of informal Q&A between the 5 of us, and a little bit with the audience involved happened, and I've included that in the video starting after this segment, so that I've cut out a couple of little bits of admin which were only really relevant at the time for the stream. But other than that, this is presented exactly as it went out, because I can't be bothered to edit it realistically, but also, for integrity. Season highlights.
So hard. It is so hard. Go on, Briony.
I love the dive. Our music gig has to be my highlight.
Yeah.
It was so happy and so fun, and I actually felt like I'd been to a party that night. So yeah,
Yep.
That was mine.
I was going to say the same thing.
Actually,
Yeah.
there was a weird thing when we hit that at the end of that episode. It just felt unbelievably great. We really had reached a point where we were like, yeah, we deserve this. We deserve to be in a band, have a lovely night, and just go nuts and not care.
Yep.
It was really good. But just for the sake of being different, I mean, I would say that was mine. But for the sake of there being 4 offers here, rather than just everyone chiming in on the same one, I'm actually going to go with week 2, where it was like the first time we had something kind of definable to do. We were navigating over the rooftops, trying to get round Ravensholm to get where, and it was all like, I throw him, I throw a rope, she catches him, he does this, and it was really the first time that we'd, as a gang, like, oh, there's a series of things that each of us can do, and maybe that helps. Like, we started putting that together. I remember getting to the Italian restaurant and
Manganello's
thrown out limoncello, and like something explodes, and it was the first time that we'd really cohesively kind of worked out what we might be able to do as a team. And I remember getting to the end of that night and thinking, oh, this is going to be fucking great.
Yeah. Rich or Matt, have you got? Because we can all accept that the dive was a high point.
Yeah.
Richard or Matt, have you got?
Yeah, so as I said, I was going to say exactly the same thing with dive night, but for me, it's been like the moments where we've had kind of real connections with the NPCs. So, like, one of my favorite moments was Ruff when Ruff fell in love.
Flirting,
Yeah.
Like, had love at first sight with, I can't even remember her name, but it was.
I think Diana. I'd have to check that out. I think it's Diana at the stables.
At the stable?
Yeah.
And she agreed to train his boar, which we failed to come back to because we moved realm. But it's like moments like that. I really enjoyed as Rev Jack talking to Flynn as well in the airship, because it's like moments of like real like jeopardy and real stakes and real emotions, and I think that's like those moments for me have been the best.
Nice.
I would chime with that just to say the completely unexpected like dogleg of suddenly there actually being like, until Flynn asked the question, any brisson between Encore and Claire was a million miles away, and then suddenly It's like, well, obviously, the quest has been about these two not being able to say how they feel about each other. It changed everything, man. That was A grade.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about Matt? Anything stands out for yourself?
Oh yeah, loads. It's hard to pick. I think like the thing that I'm loving and I have been loving is it's just as much as a surprise to me what's happening, like as I imagine anyone watching, because like I have no clue what you got planned, and certainly have no clue what the other guys have got planned. So those moments where I genuinely gasp because I'm just like, I had no idea that was coming. But I also love like there's little moments. I like contrasting moments because I feel like we've come so far. So like the way we got into Raven's home via the trebuchet,
which only existed because you were fucking around so much.
Yeah.
It's just like, fine, it happens.
But like I like to contrast that with us coming away from the magic faraway tree, like with an explosion behind us, actually flying. Like those sort of points of grace, and like playing Phillin, I've just loved having like no impulse control. It's been such a joy to sort of just go, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like walking around greasy for about 5 weeks was great. But yeah, no shame, no impulses, just an absolute freedom.
Can I show you that this is the first page of my notebook? And that little flowchart there.
Yeah.
That was the first quest, which took. It reads fetch quest, goblins ? Get to town, come back.
Now we live there.
I fleshed that out, but
yeah.
Wow.
And literally my notes read early on. The first notes I have for quest reads. So that's at the bottom. There's Wolf Town, banditing ? Undead, creepy statue, sewers.
You said sewers with a question with upward inflection at the end there.
I've written sewers, and then I think this word is catacombs, but I can't quite make it out.
We spend about. I think
we spent a long time in the sewers.
2 sessions, maybe 3.
And then I've written corrupt mayor, and then crossed out corrupt and written arsehole.
Actual lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then there's other notes here for the first draft of Ravenwood was what it was first called. And then I was going to put the Warm Chameleon in there. I did do that, didn't I? The Warm Chameleon is a pub, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Warm Chameleon's there. The Tool Shed, that didn't survive it. That turned into something else. The Sad Birthday made it in.
Yeah. We still haven't been there.
By all means, keep talking. I need 1 minute.
Sure.
What's great about, by the way,
start in the rain outside of a warehouse. Rich, criminals have a bone to pick. Matt, unpleasant dreams. Briony, banned from most pubs. Rufus, a thing that didn't actually come to pass. That's changed into something else now. Yeah.
What is great about that very, very, very first quest
that
is written is that the place that we have spent upwards of 10 sessions trying to get back to isn't even the home that we should be getting back to.
It's our home now.
You've moved into the quest location.
Because but I love the idea that we haven't even finished the first quest yet.
Yeah.
Not really.
And there's also there's loads of stuff. But you've done so many you've done and created so many side quests.
Unnecessary.
Can I tell you what a genuine? What we're talking about favorite moment of the stream, I think a real high point for. There's 2 moments that really stand out for me as genuinely. There's different categories in terms of as a DM. There are 2 moments that stand out for me as moments when I was yeah, this is what I'm doing this well. I think this is going well. Really satisfying for me as a dungeon master. And one was there's so many moments, but 2 stand out. One was Claire teetering over the edge of a cliff in a cage.
The cliffhanger.
Yeah, we got to end on a literal cliffhanger, but the tension around that and the brilliant comedy of rolling a natural 1 as you dive to save someone from the edge of a cliff, which just like I don't have to think about how that would fail. But like everything around that, because it wasn't just the sequence of events, it was the way you guys played that for a serious, and you guys were really investing in that moment. And I was like, okay, great. Because I've DM'd with players who like just do the murder hobo thing and aren't really invested in their characters, and it can be fun. But I think it gets the more fun when you're invested in it. And watching you guys respond to like real threat with really serious, actual connection to your characters and attachment to them is the word I was looking for. Attachment to characters. That was great. And then from a DMing perspective, the other high point is the wrong word, but the other moment of like, all right, okay, we're actually fucking doing this, was when you did the portal thing that I 100% didn't see coming. And literally, I'd written that. I mean, I won't. There's no spoilers in this, but in that dungeon, there was. Do you remember there was wind? It was always blowing towards the middle of the dungeon.
Yeah.
And so, literally, in my notes, I wrote magical artifact to pull wind towards it. Bullet point: tiny portal to elemental plane of air. Probably in crystal, because I wanted to think what it looked like, and I looked at my notes as to who had built the temple and was like, yeah, that makes sense with the way they would have done magic. So yeah, that's done. A little MacGuffin. So if somebody asks me a question about it, I've got an answer. And then that went so magically, brilliantly wrong that I'd made those choices, and it was literally. It was flavor text, right? It's like the biography on the back of a He-Man action figure, and then it was you poured gunpowder and petrol on this idea and went and then shot it with flames, and I was like, fuck, okay, great, let's do this. But I also like that, I really like that. I don't know, I can trust you guys to just play with fucking live ammunition. And then I also
my view, just very quickly, just to side quest it, is like when I try to DM for my kid and his mates, trying to stay on top of how the story was going to move just seemed to me like, oh, I'm basically creating a false story where if they say, right, we're going to go left at that traffic, they're still going to end up where I need them to end up, because that's as much skill as I have as a DM. Like, okay, yeah, well, you find yourself in a barn, and what do you know? It looks like this. It wouldn't matter where they've gone.
Yeah.
The way that you grabbed a hold of what the reality of putting a bag of holding over a tiny portal was, to bring us to Mad Max, to then say that, oh, there's a Back to the Future thing that could happen. Oh, and like in Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just for somebody to show that level of mental dexterity and creative flair. Honestly, I'm your pal.
Yeah.
But I was your fan from that moment on, man. I mean, like, holy shit. You just phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's really, I really mean it. I've spent a huge amount of time, since the start of this quest, watching like YouTube videos, people talking about how to DM and tone, and I just think there are people who've spent years thinking about this stuff, as undoubtedly you have, but I haven't. So to see someone just that fleet of thought it blows me away. And I'm just going to repeat myself, but holy fucking shit, man. You have taken what I thought D&D was, and to my mind, shown it at the absolute highest of the highs. Like, it is a privilege to play in your game.
Yeah, it really is.
Thank you so much. This is very high praise, and I would like to, in light of that praise, just like to say, "Go fuck yourself, Perkins." Chris, Chris, and I don't really mean that. Not Sue. Sue's great, but No, thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much.
Can I
Matt,
just
you want
say-
to go back to tell me I was
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, absolutely. And this adds on to that because someone in the chat just said how you handled Phillin's death, and like they said, as an audience member, we knew he was alive still, but like Paul doesn't play like that. It was we chatted afterwards. It was blind luck that I'm still alive. Like if Paul kills us properly, it's done. Like I was planning like,
Yeah,
oh god.
we had a chat about it. I think after when you guys hit like level 3, I think we had a conversation before one of the streams where I was like, cool, level 3 now. I would say that player character death is now a risk.
Yeah.
Like because that's how I would run a normal game. Like levels 1 and 2, like I might run into some trouble, but I don't want to be like, no, you've played the game that you never played before. Wrong. Give me a character while I fucking tear it up and then do a shit in your fucking eyes. I got weird at the end there, but yeah, like no, but we did have a chat about that. So like you guys, like that's it because risk only. No. The game is nothing without risk, but players have to comprehend the nature of risk before they can engage with it. That's a rule. That's a rule I have. But yeah, Matt, like when you saw Matt go very quiet, that was real.
Yeah, I can't remember most
to...
of the end of last week because I was so overcome with the idea of having to be someone else when I'm so attached to Phillin now. Like I love him so much, and like me and Rufus, like we sent apology texts to each other and things like that. Like, hey man, it's cool. Like we feel it. We really feel it. And again, that's because like I've said this before off stream. I don't think I've said it on. When I go away and I think back to this, I don't remember sitting in front of a computer looking at a screen. I remember everything like I've lived it.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm so far 4 months in my house, but every Saturday night I am not in my house.
Yeah.
I'm on plane of air or hell, somewhere else completely. It's really freeing.
Well, that's it. Like I have the same thing because of really good games I've played in, and I had a DM, a bloke called Tony Keogh. Well, I don't think he does much gaming anymore because he, got a good job, good job, and it moved up. Like he's a lovely dude. He's really smart. He's really intelligent. And what I learned from him was loads of stuff. But like he wouldn't. The thing that Tony did, or I certainly felt like this when he was running games, was that he would offer us the opportunity for adventure and story, and he would never force it on us. He would just go, "Here's some stuff." And he'd have done the reading, like he knew these spaces, or he made it feel to us like he was intimately familiar with all these environments. And then if we were interested in something, we were just free to go, oh, that temple he just mentioned. That sounded interesting. Can I go and look at that? And he'd have done enough research to be able to wing so much detail about these temples and weave these NPCs that we've had. My favorite NPC of all time was a bloke called Misty, who was this quiet rogue who turned up. He worked for my mate Russ's character. Russ was a druid, called they called him. Misty was a rogue who worked for him. We were quite high level when we finished that campaign, and Misty was just a savage murderer who worked for our mate, who was really nice. Along with Flynn was my player character from that game, but 20 years on. And the devil that appeared was his best mate, who was a devil called Top Hat, because we couldn't pronounce his real name. Who everyone else in the party fucking hated, but they were all bound to him, and Flynn wasn't. But Flynn got on with him because he's just people are people, right? Flynn was not as smart as he could have been, but smarter in other ways than. Yeah, but like it was. One of the reasons I like playing Flynn was it was a little opportunity to revisit a person I used to pretend to be. But like I'm going, no, I did that 20 years ago. I'm going to age Flynn 20 years and imagine what would have happened to him, how he would have changed.
Just like Die Hard 4.
Exactly like Die Hard 4. When Bruce Willis flies an illusory boat into a gravy sphere.
Yeah. He jumped the shark at that point.
Yeah.
I just attacked a castle with a car.
And Ed Fortune, correct. That was a Ravenloft campaign. There was also, I had a really good DM, Eric Ryan Taylor, who ran like a 5-year campaign of Collected of the Five Rings for me, and Tony was in that game as well, and a bunch of us. And L5R First Edition was a treat, and brutal as a system, but it was so much more vibrant a game because it was so lethal. And that game was, again, like, just, we had sessions where we would just talk in character for like 3 hours to determine stuff, and like we wrote haiku, endless haiku to each, like, about our adventures or to each other. We'd craft. We'd spend time. Like quest would be like going to find particularly good materials for one of our characters to make a gift for someone important, because this sort of the politics of the game was really, the sort of courtly intrigue side of it was really manifested in it. It was great, and it was one of the first games I played in tabletop games where I was like, it doesn't all just have to be murdering monsters.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it? I know we're coming up to 10:30, so I'm sure we're all aware that the time has come. But I think we've said it actually a few times. But let's just say it again, shall we? It's the stream. It's no. I mean, all hail King Rob, obviously.
Yes.
But the
I just really misjudged where you were going with that. I'm so sorry.
No. If I would honestly tell you, if the six of us met every Saturday night and played this game, many of the highs I've had would have been the same. Many of the lows I've had would have been the same, because actually it's the emotional attachment and the camaraderie that has made this as moving as it is. But the fact that every week there are, about 100 people who have drawn pictures, sent messages, sent tweets, and they
started playing in their own games online with each other.
Amazing.
Like, honestly, it is. There's a thing in football. I'm no great sports fan, but
is it kicking?
But
running.
They talk about the 12th man on the pitch. It's like, you can be the greatest team in the world, but it's when the fans are behind you, and that's when it really takes flight. Or Olympic athletes or marathon runners talk about, you go and do all the practice runs, but when you actually line up and everyone's there cheering you on and whatever, it's like, it's a different thing altogether. It is the involvement of people in this community, in this gang, in this. I mean, look. I mean, how saccharine do you want me to be in this little family of weirdos? and to feel genuinely connected to the people I play the game with, but all of the people who are here every week, the fake greys, the heaven's sakes. I mean, Christ, I shouldn't have started naming names, because there are genuinely
too many now. All 100,
hundreds and hundreds of people. But my golly gosh, to feel every week that you're logging on to spend time with like 120 people you really dig is, especially in a lockdown, and especially with what this gaslighting government it has done to my perception of what is real and what isn't. Anyway, the idea of coming here and having this has just been medicinal.
Like a party in the dive.
Yeah, every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in many ways, the fifth character of Sex in the City was always the city. So silly Billies. I generally don't think I can wait 2 weeks. I've had to write so many things down at the end so I don't forget them for next time.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch. I'm gonna have to rewatch the last hour of this.
Yeah, it went places.
Oh,
it really fucking did.
I think again, a real testament to us all having a plan in our own head.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and more than that, right? Yeah, other things.
Just like because my thing when we were going through that thing and I made that deal, I was like, well, I'm lawful evil now, so I'm just working. I don't give a shit. Like that was the way I was thinking. Like, why do I care if these guys go through? Like someone in Sigil's problem. Like that was my thinking. And then I thought in the end when I tried to get through, I was like, Phillin's got himself an old claws by out here. I real like I've outsmarted no one. Again, I know Ruff did what he did because like it's in his character. Like that's the thing you love. You have to fight what you do with what your character would do. I bloody love that.
It's like literally I heard a man say, like, we've been in hell and none of it's been fun. Like, as fun as it's actually been, none of it is good. We are all very much on the page of we need to get out of here. And then I hear a character say, when this deal is done, we will make this place all planes.
Yeah.
If my skew is lawful evil, then that is about being utterly self-serving, right? Well, I can't have all of the planes of reality become hell.
Yeah.
No, I was just sat here, and I'm like, can I look at the contract? Paul, what is the specific contract? Like, please, anyone thing that I can hold on to that isn't the thing I just realised might get us out of that.
That's what I love about it. Like, me and you are opposite. Claire and Hardcastle are opposite. Me and Claire are kind of the same. You and Hardcastle are
Yeah.
we got this beautiful.
At the same time, there's also like there's a weird level of commonality. I realised 4 weeks in that not one of you is using your character's real names.
Yeah.
I don't even know them.
I didn't realise one of us wasn't using their real name.
Yep.
And he's been getting it wrong every week.
Every week. No wonder it wasn't even his real name.
Yeah.
No wonder he was so like, I'm going to make sure they know that name.
Can I just say, Richard and I have been sat on that since April.
Really?
Yeah.
Because when you were going through, I was like, I generally thought it was going to be like a I love you moment or something like that. And then when you said that, I was like, oh, what?
I thought I knew what you were framed for.
A proper Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, no, we came up with that ages ago. And I must say, he has been named by every other possible name. So you probably have said his true name at some point.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
Fun
It
times.
occurs to me, somebody was saying having like a season 1 pin would be cool. I've been very slow. It's not been a very productive week because of all of the grief, but I've been working on some new pin designs. I think I'm going to kickstart some new pins which are more related to D&D in general than Questing Time specifically. But these exist, although I don't really have any in the stock, but I can get more made. Would anyone be in the market for these? This is the tasteful golden black Questing Time logo on a D20. I don't have many in. I've got like 8, maybe. No, maybe actually I haven't even got that.
Rufus
I said like the last. I think I said. I genuinely think about 2 months ago I sent the last couple of these to Jerry Holkins as part of a chat we were having. But what I can do is those are relative. I don't have to design those again; they exist, and I can just get them printed up. It will take a little while. I think it takes them about a month to make a batch. But if people like those, I can probably I can knock those out relatively quickly. Cool, great, yay. Lovely stuff. We should probably all stop being online.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the most fucking intense ending of this fucking season. Oh, I had so many things I could have thrown, so many things I wanted to happen, and so much more happened. You all got hit with a dragon carcass, which I was like, I'll remember that. No,
basically died again.
No.
Yeah, almost died again. One of you murdered one of the others. Two of you had the sternest fucking conversation. And of course, we have the exciting mystery of why is there a statue of Phillin at the center of reality?
Yeah.
Matt, I will say this. Matt, before the stream, I think Matt said to one of the guys, I think he maybe said to Briony, it's so much easier it's so much nicer having a character with no memory. And I remember saying to you, like, no, it isn't. So, yes. And for heaven's sake, yes. The conversation between Claire and Hardcore at the base of the stream was fucking theatre.
Yeah.
Right? That's my favourite thing about this stream, actually. Once we got past the first couple of weeks of everyone kind of going, dice. Once we got past that, you guys have done a brilliant job of making this a phenomenal. I think it's exactly what I think the best improv is. It capers gleefully and wildly across the line between genuine human drama and dicking about with your friends. And this is at its best. I think this is both. And that's down to you guys. All I can do is give you toys and then hope you guys do something fun with them, which you have done every single fucking time. You have surpassed my expectations of what we could possibly do. And
also,
so yeah,
just you might not know this, Paul, but coming in quite new to D&D,
yeah.
There's loads of stuff on D&D Beyond, and it's just there, guys. It's just, and you can just look it up.
And it does
You
the
can just-
maths automatically for you.
Yeah.
as
You can
well.
just look it
Do you
up.
want to, Matt? If you're inclined, type in Krull into the D&D Beyond search bar and see what monstrous shit you avoided fighting.
Oh, I can imagine. But I am going to look at. That's my favourite thing. Afterwards, I like to go away and look things
I
like the
show you-
monsters up.
I didn't show you a picture of Krull, did I?
See if he
hopefully-
looks.
Hopefully
like
I
a-
described him.
It's
You
cool
know-
last voice.
Oh my god.
I wasn't that worried about whatever random tortoise that was, and then you said he moves slowly towards you. I was like, oh fuck, oh.
Yeah. And he was creepy.
If this is something that doesn't run like he's swinging a sword, it is genuinely really dangerous.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was also really pleased I got to because I was trying to find reference to Krull's voice from like something Joe had done, but I couldn't find anything online in time. And I was like, yeah, I'll just do Herzog because
Shimply Peebles.
Very good.
It's very good.
But yeah, right. We should bail.
Yeah.
And go on with our actual lives. Like I said, the internet. Please, if you're not already following us on Twitter, please follow. It's at Questing Time on Twitter. If you want to pre-send questions for Wednesday night, at Questing Time, #DragonEant, and tell us who you want to ask the question of. And if you don't, then I'll assume it's just for sort of group debate. I guess I'll sort of moderate that panel. But we'll do that Wednesday night. I think no gaming, no D&D on the 1st, but I strongly suspect they'll be playing something. It might be RimWorld, if I can get my current setup of gaming to work. Because I'm going to add some more gaming to this stream because I've got the fucking time. It is so Wednesday night, as for heaven's sake, as appropriately put it, it's question time, questing time. on
Question
Wednesday
time,
night.
question time.
Yes. A couple of quick recommendations. One is the lovely Steve McNeil, or Steve from Go 8-Bit on Twitch, is picking his streaming back up again because he's had a bit more time to play. So if you haven't already followed him, please do. He's Steve from Go 8-Bit, and he is a good egg, who I have insulted more than any human.
I'm going to be on his stream, I think the second Friday of August.
Cool. Lovely. That's great. In which case, remind me of that. I'll do some tweety stuff. It's not. King Rob has reminded you there that it's not Steve's stream. It's Rob's stream. Steve just lives there. So yeah, that's us. That was season 1 of Questing Time. What an absolute fucking treat. Thank you once again to my players. Thank you massively to King Rob. Thank you to
King Rob. Oh, how King Rob.
Yes, Friday.
Rob
Yay.
flipped my screen.
That's that. That's the whole of season 1 done. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Perhaps if you'd like to help us support the channel and doing the show, then you'd like to throw a little bit of money at the Patreon, link in the description. You get nothing. It's just to help us out. And by us, I mean me. And we will be back. We've got season 2, which is, if anything, longer and more complex with higher stakes. But season 2 is around the corner, and we'll be with you imminently. Until then, stay safe, be kind, and a third thing, bye-bye.